Right, hey guys, and welcome into yet another Apex webcast. I've completely forgotten what one we're on.
Number 6.
Is it number 6? There we go.
We've been running this for 6 months already.
I know. This could be an anniversary soon. It's going to be exciting. Anyway, I'm Pfizer FPV. I'm joined here by Asylum FPV, and today's special guest, Gundren FPV, Janis. Dude, how is it going, everyone?
It's going great. The weather's finally starting to turn good again, so time to go out and fly, and all good. How about you?
Get it done. Yeah, good here. Same thing. Kind of rainy, kind of rubbish, but yeah, hoping it'll get better soon. Tim, Asylum, I'm sure it's the middle of summer where you are. It's pretty gorgeous weather.
Yeah. Well, it's not gorgeous weather. It's humid as heck, and I think it was 33 degrees today, and rainy and disgusting. And yeah, no, it's all over the place anyway. So, but at least you guys will start getting some sun, and then you can actually start getting out. But we're not all here to talk about the weather. We just wish we could all be out there flying. That'd be absolutely awesome. Flying weather. That's what we all want. Gundren, where are you from? How long you been flying? And how'd you come up with your FPV name for those who don't know you?
So I'm from Switzerland, from Bern exactly, to be exact, and I've been flying for about 3 years, but racing only for the last year. And my FPV name, Gundren FPV, comes from that I didn't put really much thought into it. I just wanted to have an FPV name that is easy to pronounce in English and that doesn't lead to much confusion, because my real name, Janis Jenkel, can sometimes be a bit hard for English-speaking people.
Tim in particular?
Yeah, not me at all.
No, you were good from the start, that's true. And yeah, so Gundren, it was just a name I heard in a D&D adventure, actually, in a Dungeons and Dragons adventure, and then I thought, let's go for that, and I'm fine with it. It's not great, but it works.
Hey, as long as it works, and it's definitely individual, so that's what we're all about, I suppose. You know, having something that stands out, it's a bit individual. And if I can pronounce it, everyone else is going to be fine, alright? So, you know, perfect.
That's true.
So, what got you into FPV to start with? Yeah, I know, seriously, what got you into FPV, and what's your current in real life rig at the moment?
So initially my brother got me into FPV. He started with it quite a bit longer than I did, and he is only a freestyle pilot, so he really just did some freestyle and only for himself, and that's also the way I started, and I didn't really fly much at all, and just enjoyed it and went out and flown for myself and stuff. And then my quad broke down that I had, and I was too lazy and it was too expensive to fix, and so I took quite a break and didn't really fly much. And then last year, when all the coronavirus stuff started, and I thought I'd get myself onto the sim again and do some sim flying, and thought about why not just try racing once. I never even thought about it, so I started racing in the sim and really got into it and got hooked on it, and I consciously said to myself, I want to get good at this, and I'm gonna practice now every day and see what I can achieve. And so that was a year ago, and now I can do quite some racing, and that's pretty fun.
Yeah, and you definitely did awesomely well getting into the McDonald's, DCL McDonald's Wildcard team. That is a massive hit. So how many hours are you actually putting into like Velocidrone and DCL and any sim that you can get your fingers on by the sound of it? So how much time are you sticking into these?
Yeah, I said to myself in the beginning, I want to spend at least 3 hours a day, and that worked out for quite a while, and I really was consistent with it and put every day 3 hours in. And when I had races in the sim on Velocidrone or stuff, I most often put more time. And now sometimes when it's a bit more stress with job and stuff, I have to put in a little less, but I still fly every day on the sim, mostly in Velocidrone, because that's for me, I think is for me the best practice tool, because it's most like 5-inch real life racing, which is what I'm mostly interested, and used to, exactly. And and now it's also interchanging with DCL because of the trials that I'm doing and stuff. So it's quite a lot, and I do have to say I'm only able to do this because of my work situation and stuff. I have currently not too much to do, so in the work department, so I have the time.
More time to practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, more time to practice. That's brilliant.
That's great.
So what's your go-to controller that you're using for all of this? Are you using a Tyrannus, or are you using a TN16,
I use a Tyrannus QX7, and just with Hall gimbals that I changed, but
I love Hall gimbals.
I
got
stuff.
I've always wanted a QX7. I don't know why. I don't know why I've always wanted one. I just like the look of them, but I've never been able to find one. Like, I don't know what it's like for you. I'm sure in sort of mainland Europe it's probably quite easy to get parts and things. But I know in the UK it can be quite tough sometimes. Everything, because as soon as something comes in, it's immediately out of stock because there's such a massive demand for it now. Everyone wants it. But
and also they don't really have much interest in the old QX7 anymore, because they want to push their access stuff, and
true.
Mine is still the old one with the old protocol, which I think is better, and I'm using Crossfire now, so that doesn't matter anyway.
Another Crossfire person, like you guys with your Crossfire and all your advanced rigs. Yeah. Rub it in.
I flew a long time on Afar Sky, and I had all my problems with hours of changing firmwares and stuff to try to get to buy.
Don't get me started. I built the DCL rig. I built like end of last year, and I had a receiver that it was bricked out of the packet. And I've just literally last weekend I finished building my Mr. Steel Apex, and that receiver doesn't work either. They're just bricked out of the box. It's awful, and of course the receivers themselves are hard to get hold of as well. Let alone like the bloody controllers to actually to the transmitter. So yeah, I don't know. I'm like this close now to just swapping over and be like, screw this. I'm just gonna dump all my money on something else.
I'm out of it. It's exactly what happened to me. I struggled too long with this Afar Sky stuff, and then
it's too much.
Bother anymore.
Advice noted.
See, I'm learning so much here. It's just like, okay, do I go FR Sky? Yeah. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm just gonna sit back and do what I do until I hit Crossfire or something. I don't know. We'll work that out when we get there.
So what are you flying in real life? Yeah.
Hey? Oh, me? Oh, yeah. Sorry. What are you flying in real life?
Yeah, I'm currently having a 5-inch quad, like this one, but it's more of a practice rig and not really a racing rig, because it still is missing some stuff to go into real life races, and it's also still a 4S quad and not a 6S quad, because I had quite some 4S lipos lying around, and I didn't really want to build a 6S course and then have to buy a lot of lipos. But
this is exactly what I did. Yeah.
And now at the moment, but I'm currently building a race rig that I'm intending to use in races and stuff. So now I'm switching to 6S. I just got the parts and gonna be building it this week. And yeah, it's a Hyperlight Floss 3, the light version.
Cool.
So with a 20x20 stack from HG LRC.
Nice.
And yeah.
The Zeus.
Yeah, exactly. And T-Motor F60, T-Motor F60 Pro.
60.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice.
It's gonna be a
punch
fun
motors.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a couple of your couple of your training videos, and they actually look really good anyway. Is that with the 4S, obviously?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
nice.
At the moment, I'm not really. I don't actually need to upgrade to 6S. I think because I'm not I still have a lot to get out of my 4S quad. I could still go faster and stuff. But I know that sooner or later I will have to go to 6S, and I just thought when I'm building a real rig for racing, I need to go to 6S. So at the moment it still sucks a bit that I have to buy lipos, but
it'll be worth it in the long run. I mean, that's the thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Racing now is so
I'm
much about the whole kind of sub 250 thing has really introduced the whole drop in weight class and kind of minimal weight. But at the same time, I mean, what you can do then is, because your frame and everything else is so much lighter, it doesn't really matter if you got those 2 extra cells. So that 6S plus the tiny kind of, you know, minuscule weight of the frame is just like that's the perfect combination. I think the thing is, when you're good enough at flying on a 4S quad, I think there's no harm in if you've got the spare money to go and throw out all the batteries. There's no reason why you shouldn't jump to 6S, because it's only going to be more headroom, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this quad, because I think that this one will be my first real racing quad that will be competitive, because most of the parts are pretty much what other top tier racers use. So
is there quite a big racing scene around your way?
Nah, not really. That's quite the problem in Switzerland. It's not a big racing scene. I'm also quite new to it, because I didn't really do IRL racing until now. But as I am aware, the main thing is like the Swiss Drone League, which is then already a quite big event. So for the starting, it's not optimal, because we don't have a lot of local races and stuff. Sure. But I think surely there will be some out there. I just gotta look for them.
It's getting bigger and bigger all the time, and I think even in the UK, I mean, even just hobby clubs and stuff, a lot of guys that go and fly kind of actual model aircraft and things seem to really kind of take to the idea of the drones and the racing stuff, because I think there's scope there for them with the FPV element and the wings and things like that. And I think they like it. It's an interesting thing, because I think a lot of the people that get into quadcopters aren't necessarily model aircraft guys, or you know, a lot of it. I certainly have never flown model aircraft. I just literally walked straight into quads. So there's that disconnect there. So they've already got all of this land and all this space that they can go and fly on. But it's kind of like, I think quadcopters are finding their way into that a little bit more, and I think you're seeing an awful lot more of that, especially, you know, as the years go by and it kind of grows and grows and grows, and especially with the competitive scene now. I think we do see more and more of it, but at the moment it is kind of tough, because it's difficult to find your way into that at a grassroots level. It's very easy to find DCL or, you know, IDL, you know, the big leagues, but you know, finding
where do you start?
Exactly.
Where do you start? How do you come up through the ranks? And that's the thing.
And that's also quite like my struggle at the moment, because my plan is to do my first real life race will be in the STL, which is definitely not ideal, because it's like already a bigger league and stuff, but it's just I won't be able to probably do anything else before that. I just have to go race on my own.
Baptism of fire.
Exactly.
But I think that's good. I think you know, I think having seen what you're capable of, certainly in terms of sim racing and in, you know, even the DVR and stuff that we see, I think it's a good level for someone like yourself to go in at, because I think it would kind of, I don't know, would it be a bit underwhelming going in at a real sort of super grassroots hobbyist level and kind of really sort of dominating straight away? Go there, and because at the end of the day, that's what's really going to push you, I think, to become a better pilot. You know, I think fair play to you. I think that's going to be really good fun.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think from the flying aspect, I'm definitely not gonna win and stuff, but I don't think I will be the slowest one, so I'm not that scared of that. But it's just like all the how the whole IRL racing works and stuff.
Expertise and knowledge of other people. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and
When
how
to
you have to
plug in
behave
and
and stuff.
channels
Yeah, exactly.
and yeah, exactly.
That's the thing that always confuses me. Yeah, like where the whole idea of like don't plug in when these people are racing, don't plug, because like obviously for me,
Make sure you're in pit mode.
I'm the only person within like a 500-mile radius that flies drones, where I have like, so I have no idea if like don't plug in.
Going, yelling, standing up, looking around, and going, "All right, everybody, I'm about to plug in."
Waving a flag, like I'm plugging in now.
Just getting sheep and crickets.
That's it.
But knowing your luck, you probably have somebody come over a hedge, going, "Yes, thank you."
I would have someone plug. I would have someone coming over a hedge going, "What are you doing? What is this noisy thing? Turn it off now! You're spying on me." Tell us a bit more about the DCL stuff. Obviously that was a big deal last year, and I think in terms of especially the sim racing, you know, the way things are going. I know we had I don't know if anyone's not seen it. Green Racing News yesterday had a big sort of annual webinar seminar type thing, I guess, where DCL confirmed obviously that. I think last year was supposed to have been a hybrid season, and we were supposed to have, I think we had 3 or 4 real-life races, and there was going to be a sim league running alongside it. Obviously, that was shelved, and I think that's the plan for this year. Is I think they want to have their one in real-life race, which is going to be Mexico City. Actually, they confirmed yesterday, so quite a distance away from a lot of us. But I think, you know, if the opportunity presents itself, it'd be a fun one to get to. I think they said they're going to do it in the bullfighting stadium, which
bullfighting ring, yeah,
pretty cool.
That's going to be amazing. That'd be awesome to rip around.
But you know, with that, obviously the announcement that there's a significant e-racing esports series that's going to be taking place as well. What was your experience like last year? Obviously, you flew in one of the live televised kind of races that went out to, what did they say yesterday, like 150 million individual viewers or something crazy.
Something crazy, yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
What was the experience like? Walk us through it. You know, how did it go? How did you qualify first off?
Yeah, it was actually pretty crazy because I up to that point, to when the qualifying and stuff starts, I pretty much only did Velocidrone stuff and did races there and stuff. And then once on a Steam sale, I thought I'd get DCL just because I knew
Steam sales are dangerous.
Anyway.
You gotta get there.
I had an email yesterday that was like, "There's stuff on offer." I was like, "Ignore, delete that."
And then I just started playing it, but only for like an hour or stuff to just test it and put it away. And then I don't know how I found out about it, but then I found out about the Wildcard challenge already, and I pretty much started with that. I saw that it will be starting in like 2 weeks, the qualifying for the Wildcard team, and I got onto DCL and started practicing a bit and stuff, and I didn't really think that I would qualify because I knew I wasn't bad at racing, but I had almost no experience in DCL.
And it's very different as well.
It's extremely different, yeah.
Big quads.
Yeah, definitely. And then the qualifying came around, and somehow my times got in up there, and I also put in a lot of time because as soon as I saw that I might have a chance to get
at
it,
that point,
I thought I'm gonna get it.
Absolutely.
and started to race, and that was pretty fun. And I initially didn't expect it, and then I got it and was super excited for the race. And yeah, the race itself was amazing. We got brought to Zurich, and
Nice.
we were there
in
in
a massive bag of McDonalds.
Yeah, exactly. We were there in a studio.
It was huge.
That would have been the only reason I would have done it. Free Mackie dude.
We were there for like 2 days,
Wow.
2 days, and we pretty much only ate McDonald's. So
McDonald's.
That's so good.
All of us didn't really want any more McDonald's, but yeah, it was nice.
You're smiling for the sponsors. You're like, "Yes, I love this. Thank you very much." And you're walking out going, "Oh, I need an apple."
Exactly.
Give me a KFC.
Yeah, no, it was definitely awesome, and we had a nice studio there and got some time to practice before we got quite good sim rigs there. They were definitely very good. All was very well. And then the race came. We were all obviously very, very nervous, but we had the advantage that we were just a wildcard team, and we said to ourselves that, yeah, we're a wildcard team, and we're flying against X-Blades. So
Yeah, that
we're
was
not
tough.
No pressure.
we're not gonna do anything crazy. We just have to fly. We put our pressure off, and yeah, we were somewhat happy with how we did. I think we would have liked it if we at least managed to get 1 point, but it was close. And I think in one heat from me, I was in front of Minchan and Kilian for quite a while.
It's
And
like
then-
tick. There's
That's
a light
like
bulb right
at that point you're like,
Exactly.
whoa.
Yeah, that was exactly how it was. I was flying and I was in the zone, and then somehow I heard that, because in the other room they were watching it live, and I heard that I was in front, and as soon as I realized, I got nervous and I crashed.
You're like, no!
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was pretty fucking great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's an amazing. It'd be an amazing experience just to go. Yeah, even if you did freak out, it'd be just like, yeah, okay. I took on Minjan, and I was actually, ahead of him for a little bit until I, slightly freaked out. But I think everybody would have done so, and I would have just, I would have freaked the hell out. After that,
I would have
for
just
sure.
false started. Absolutely, every
what?
time.
Was there?
Just constant penalties. But this is the thing,
I
though.
should
Like,
have been like, he's over there. Oh.
but this is it. I mean, we've seen how difficult it is to beat the pros, and I think what was it? I think maybe we've had one, maybe two heats where outsider teams have scored points in the sim.
I think twice.
Yeah. So we've seen how difficult it is in the sim, because I think in the sim there's just absolutely no, like, you don't care. Like, it's just you can throw that quad around and you lose all inhibitions, and it's kind of just go go go. In real life, I think when we've had the McDonald Wildcard team, was it Lux in 2019?
Lux in
I think
Yes,
Yeah.
I think.
they may well. Was it Apex that they beat? I think maybe. Am I allowed to say that? I can't remember.
Something like that.
But-
I'm not
Hey,
sure,
if-
but they did.
the truth.
really
They
good.
did. They got through. They got maybe a round, maybe 2 rounds, I think. So it's surprising in real life. I think I'm certainly speaking to some of the Apex pilots and stuff, and Glenn a couple of months ago. Those quads are very tough to fly. I mean, I know full well myself.
Yeah.
They're tough quads to fly, and you know as well, Asylum.
Yeah.
So that is such a kind of leveling factor that I just, and again we go back to it, I think that it's so important, it's crucial to have those real life events, because if we can have like the McDonald's wildcard team and stuff, it's great because it's easy to get in for sim racing. But I really hope they carry on doing it at the real life events as well, because having that like outsider team come in, there's such a chance for upset when the quads are such a leveling factor there. I think that's really sick. So it would be cool. Would you consider that, like, if you were, if we went to another kind of real life season again, would that be something you'd be working towards?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be awesome. It would still need some time to get a bit better, but it might be possible.
Yeah.
I think also with the wildcard teams, like you don't have that pressure of the teams turning around and knowing I've only got X amount of quads to do us for the season and whatever
Yeah.
else. With the wildcard guys, just come in and go, hey, they're giving us a quad, we're going to fly it and we're going to just absolutely rip it. If it blows apart, no care, no responsibility.
Yeah,
and they're just like, it's just a leveling field.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, you have to you don't have the pressure of any expectations, because no one expects the wildcard team to beat X-Blades or to win a race or something. It's you can really internalize that and take the pressure off and go at
Just
it.
do what you do and fly
Yeah.
and enjoy it and
I think,
rip as hard
yeah.
as you want.
And anything that you do is phenomenal, because either either it's the kind of story of, they put up a really valiant fight and it was a really great race and it was impressive to see what these guys could do, or alternatively, if you do get a win, then everyone's like, holy crap, like, what the hell, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So and the other thing is, you've always got the support of the fans as well. I mean, that's the big
Yeah.
thing, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like, it
that's
doesn't matter
awesome.
who you are, where you're from, you can have your allegiances to Apex or to any of the other guys, but the wildcard team, everyone loves the underdog all the time. So
Definitely, yeah.
I think that's it. You've got to be in that mental space, don't you? You can't do wrong. I think at that point, and I think that's got to be a good thing.
And that was also awesome during the race. We really could feel the support from the people.
Twitch
we
chat
were
was...
there, and when you weren't flying, you were looking in Twitch chat, and everyone was cheering for you, and that really felt good. It was really awesome. So, like I said, the whole experience was just great from start to finish. It was really something cool.
What was the biggest thing you took out of it? What was the biggest learning you took out of the whole experience? More time in the sim, more, I've got to get out and do some more in real life, or was it expectations, with interviews and chatting and stuff like that? Was that something that you didn't quite realize that was such a big, important part of the whole process?
I think I took quite a lot of things out of it because, for one, definitely the stuff like how it all works and how it's organized and how, all the sim stuff. Also, how they are doing such a big broadcast and stuff. How everything works together. That was good to know because if I ever am gonna fly in a DCL race again, I know a bit what to expect and stuff. If it's a sim race, obviously. And a big thing was also to just see how you measure up to the big guys. You obviously do that in the sim, but you also have to always think about in the sim. You always compare yourself against the best times, and
Absolutely.
you can't really compare consistency and stuff. And in the real race, in the DCL race, it was crazy to see how consistent these guys are. They're not only fast, but they are hella consistent. Like Minshan and Kirion, they almost never do any mistakes and still are going this fast. And it really gives you another perspective and also taught me that consistency is an aspect that I have to put more weight onto in my own development as a racer. Because especially then again in real life, consistency is almost everything because crashing is not really an
terminal
option.
Yeah.
Well, this is it, and that's one thing I think I took away from it was you race in DCL, you've got to remember you're always up against the absolute fastest, best possible lap. It's like social media, like people are never going to post photos and things that they don't want you to see. You only ever see the good points, right?
Mm.
So it's the same thing. I mean, unless you sit down straight away and first thing midnight on the day and you watch every single replay as Minjay puts a lap in or as Andreas puts a lap in, you're not going to see any of that.
Exactly.
You're going to log on at you're going to log on at like 5 o'clock and you go, I'll just thrash a few laps out on here, and you end up against like Minjay's Ghost and he's 12 seconds ahead of you, and you're like, well, okay, this guy's really fast. But like you say, to see that and to see that those guys are consistent in real life, constantly lap after lap after lap on a track that they had an hour's qualifying on, I think was, or an hour's qualifying practice, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think half an hour, or I'm not sure anymore.
But after such a short time, I mean, it takes me a good hour, maybe hour and a half before I'm feeling like I can consistently...
You're in the zone a bit.
But even then, taking it up to full throttle and then kind of shaving time off, like it's one thing being consistent and going through and hitting the gates, but then being consistent and also hitting the pre-turns, hitting the rolls the right way, getting just the right amount of yaw in so that you're not kind of flapping around. That, I mean, it's phenomenal to me that those guys can pick that up so fast, and even the younger guys as well. I mean, we see some really, really young guys in there with that. So it's a really competitive environment for sure. It's crazy.
Yeah, the skill level is insanely high. In DCL, it's almost every pilot that flies there is really, really good and consistent, and it's just impressive. And that's nice to be able to fight against these people.
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely.
It must be a good feeling to know that you're in a part of that league where you're actually fighting against these guys, even on the leaderboards now. You're always up there. I mean, I know you were with us on Alpha for a little while, and you've gone over now to Hot Props, which of course, again, that's another fantastic opportunity there for
Definitely.
Absolutely.
next
Congratulations
year.
on that one.
Yeah,
Thanks.
good,
Yeah.
man.
That was
Yeah,
pretty
good
cool.
pickup.
Yeah, Nitro FPV is. Yeah, he also was in the Wildcard team, so
Yeah.
we know each other quite well now.
Yeah.
And so he thought, and he also saw that I was placing quite high recently since I started going back to DCL. So he asked me, and
You placed. Oh yeah. Nah, yeah, and when you said, oh yeah, I've kind of got an option at Hot Props, I was like, dude, don't what? Just do it, go. What are you doing? Get on that. Why are you even talking about it? No,
I wasn't with you that
that's what
long.
it's all about.
Yeah,
No.
To be honest,
Nah, that's what it's all about, man.
we were surprised. I think when we saw you were on there, we were like, dude, Janis like not got a team. Like, what is this guy was
Like,
in
how's
the
that possible?
he's in the wild card race, and no one's been like, dude, join our team. We're like, we'll poach him, we'll
Yeah.
have him.
I
Yeah.
wasn't really flying DCL before, so I think that was it. You guys just were the first to realize that I was back on the grind. Yeah, definitely.
We saw an opportunity and we pounced.
We will take every opportunity, any time.
But no,
And I
it
still
was
helped you for a few races, so that's
yeah, this is it, and it's good to it's good to have you as a friend, I think, and that's one thing that we've
Yeah.
come to learn, I think, throughout the last year is that, and I even yesterday in the chat for the Green Racing News thing, I know I saw Pressure was in there, and he was like, dude, I can't wait for real life again because just to meet the people that I've known online for the last year, and it's like, I mean, this is great and everything, but I'm just I don't know. I'm still really butthurt about the fact that the draft didn't go ahead last year because I was
Yeah.
like this close to just I had my tickets, I was ready to go to London, like
Yeah.
let's go, and it would have been great. It would have been amazing to see all these people. But as it is, we've had a whole year now of just like making all these friends. It's just like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's strange to put faces to names, even
Definitely, yeah. And I think the connections in the drone racing community are pretty important because if you know other pilots and if other pilots know you, it's way easier to like that get in a team or get an opportunity to do something. And for example, in the VRL season, I was picked quite late, but my qualifying time was actually pretty good. But just most of the team captains, because they were Americans and time zone stuff, they didn't really know me, and they didn't really know if this is a pilot that actually can fly good or if he just got a time once on a tryouts track. So,
He fluked it on a track, yeah.
yeah,
it's not what you know, it's who you know almost.
yeah.
But that's a big thing, especially in Europe. I mean, it's so. I'm impressed even that we've got the DCL, to be perfectly honest with you, because I mean, you look at America and they've had DRL, I think, for a good few years now. I mean, I forget what season they're on. I mean, it's pretty far gone now. I mean, they've been flying for years.
Yeah.
But even down to at a hobbyist level, like freestyle stuff. I mean, people have been flying drones. I mean, Mr. Steele's been around for years now, but in Europe, it's not really. I don't know. It's still really underground. I mean, there are races. I mean, there was a DHL sponsored championship for a little while. There's a couple of things here and there, but nothing's really taken off like the
definitely
DRL,
not a lot. Yeah.
which is
I
yeah.
don't know really why. It's
No.
strange.
Especially you think Europe is very eco-friendly. Like I mean, there's a huge push in Europe versus places like the States for eco-friendly sports and making them as environmentally friendly as we can. What's more environmentally friendly than drone racing? I mean, you're already using LiPo batteries, which are fully recyclable batteries. I mean, the whole every key part of a LiPo battery can be recycled. I mean, the drones as well. I mean, that was one of the other things in chat yesterday where someone popped up and was like, oh, it would have been great to have seen the DCL powered, like the diesel powered DCL drone, something like that. Like, but it's such an eco-friendly sport, and it's such an exciting sport. I'm really surprised that it's not taken off bigger than it is.
Fly your drones next to a solar farm and be charging those lipos off solar power and then racing around the track and then keep on going. Like,
There's big scope, yeah.
especially from an outsider, because down here in Australia we are a little slow in some respects, and we don't have the numbers of Europe and the US. I kind of think, from an outsider looking into these areas, the Americans, and you guys will probably know this anyway, the Americans have got numbers, they got the marketing, and they got the hype. They're really good at marketing the hype.
Yeah, the marketing, the hype's the big thing.
Are they better? Have they got a better production? Have they got a better race broadcast system? Have they got all these other things? Are they better racers at the end of the day? And sometimes I look at it and I go, maybe not. But the marketing and the hype is what gets it going. And then all of a sudden they're on NSPN, and all of a sudden, I can get DRL races down here on the sports channel if I want it.
Yeah, it's all about that Super Bowl level hype.
Gets onto that.
Yeah,
correct. And I think if DCL or any of the other European leagues can, and the IDL or someone, or everybody can hype it up and somehow surpass them. Like, I honestly think a lot of the races are more dedicated and technically aware than a lot of the Americans.
Yeah, I think Twitch, and I think they've also they were on Amazon Prime as well. I think when they had the last IRL season, like the real life season, was on Amazon Prime here, and I think there was a show on Sky Sports as well. I think at one point there was like a kind of roundup show and stuff. So there's clearly there's a push, and it's good to see. But I think, again, like we were saying before, I think a lot of it comes down to it being real life, because the sim racing is great and that's fine on Twitch, but it's difficult to really put that on terrestrial television and have it accepted as a sport by a wider audience. I think it's one thing to be a drone person and love drone racing, but to be a complete outsider that's never heard of it before and kind of see the VGC stuff, the video games, you're kind of a bit like, why would I watch people play video games? It's a hard sell at that point to those people.
Yeah, because it's still a very small market that you're playing with. You've got the people that are watching Twitch and playing, as you say, you need that in real life aspect to actually get the populace and the mass to get behind it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I often think it's a problem from, you can either market your race or your stuff towards the actual FPV people, or you can market it towards the general public, and it's quite a difference. And I think often people go towards too much the FPV community, because, for example, a lot of races would like to race only with small 5-inch quads that are as light as possible and stuff, but to engage the general public, you have to at least put LEDs on it and make it bigger, and
so true,
so that people can sit outside and watch it, and even like the DCL stuff, make it a little bit slower so that it's easier to follow and to see what happens.
Camera friendly.
Yeah, and that maybe isn't always what the FPV community wants, but in order to make it grow bigger and advertise it towards normal people and not the FPV community itself, you have to do these steps. And I think there is somewhat a fight between those two aspects.
Definitely. But I think we do see it in DCL. I mean, you've got the canopies, which is a big thing, because it's one thing covering it in LEDs, but at the same time, I mean, obviously DCL races quite a lot during the day at places as well. So having the canopies, it's a visual thing, and they look cool as well. I mean, you see the canopy on a DCL drone versus just a kind of regular stripped out 5-inch quad. They look really futuristic, interesting. They've got these massive, great big props on and stuff. That's it. They look fast. We know as pilots that they're incredibly slow, cumbersome, floaty things, but to the outsider, it's like, whoa, look at that thing, look how cool it looks, look how fast it is. Well, this is it. But as well, the team aspect is another big part that I think is really good, especially in Europe. I know in America with the DRL, obviously you've got individual pilots and they've all got their own colours and they all go and fly and stuff, and that's great. But I think with the way DCL sort of went and the idea of kind of basing it off of like a Formula One style setup, the idea of having teams is absolutely genius, because at that point you pick one and you've got an allegiance to that team, and you know, there's the colors there's the kind of branding and the representation and stuff, and I think Europe loves a team. I think we're all about teams, you know, that whole kind
Absolutely.
of idea of the team ethic in motorsport. You know, I think it's a really interesting take on drone racing, which has historically always just been a kind of one player thing, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting also because there's certain countries that I'm going to chuck a curveball out there, especially after looking into the live stream the other night. Formula One isn't now coming to certain countries because of restrictions being a pain in the proverbial, you know, with all the COVID stuff and whatever else. The Melbourne race got cancelled last year, 5 minutes before
it was
meant to start. Now they're not even coming this year. We're supposed to have it, you know, in the next month or so. They're not even going to bother. So what other sporting event is going to potentially fill that void for all these, you know, speed freaks that you know, love going to the motorsport and going to the F1? Maybe drone racing will be that void filler. You know, it's getting those people to fix. It's technologically advanced. It's fast, and
there's
if
crashes.
You get it to translate on TV, there's crashes. You know,
that's one thing you don't get in Formula One these days. And it was another thing they were going about yesterday, was the whole, you know, the e-racing, you know, Formula E, that kind of stuff, where it's like you watch that and you understand that it's not going to be a loud, noisy kind of.
No.
There's not going to be that element to it. But even Formula One now, I mean, the move to more eco-friendly engines and all this kind of stuff, really,
and even hybrid ones they've been talking about.
But it really detracts from what was amazing as a spectacle about Formula, and they've struggled really hard for the last couple of years to maintain and rebuild their audience base after the farce of the turbo engine reintroduction, where they just sounded awful. I mean, I went to Silverstone in 2008, 2009, and the noise of the V10s was, I mean, you stood there and you could feel it in your chest. Crazy. You know, it made me feel like my ears were going to bleed. So the sound is such a big part of it, and I think you just kind of, you need that in an e-sport in order to actually make, I don't know, to give that kind of real like sense of speed and spectacle. And you get that, you don't necessarily get it with Formula E because the cars are still quite quiet, but with drone racing, because of the props and the kind of the way that they disturb the air and stuff, you get that real kind of like, I don't know, they're just noisy and they just sound so fast. And I think that's it's such a massive spectacle, you know, when you're watching it. And there's especially DCL, 8 drones flying past, you know, that level of noise, just phenomenal. So that is what's going to pull people in, you know, and fill that void for people that want their, you know, the petrol heads. Maybe we're not necessarily going to have
looking for something.
Exactly, yeah, and you're not maybe going to get the petrol engines for very much longer, so you need something that's going to kind of fill that void.
But if there's also a potential for a dirty great big stack, right, and parts to go flying, let's be honest, right? People people don't like it when it's theirs or they're doing it, but have a crash. They want to see bits flying everywhere. You know, it's a spectacle. You know, people want that spectacle.
The GoPro dropping underneath the water.
Watching the fish go past. You know, that was funny. That was awesome. Classic. I love that. Yeah. But I think hopefully if they can get it to translate, it's gonna be brilliant, and I'm hoping they can get some in real life races going, because they've got the potential to do a great thing. If the mass can get onto it and get behind it, so that'd be awesome. But I have a funny feeling we might have another year. Well, they've already announced that we're only doing one real life this year, but hopefully we can keep digging our way out of that, and the fan base, at least in the esports side of things, can keep growing, so they're there when we're ready to go for the in real life. So fingers crossed, and positive hats on, and keep on flying training. So I've noticed that you've been ripping around in Velocidrone in the latest race, and you've been flying quite well. I think the last thing I saw you on was you finished 6th in the last race, which is extremely close to Apex's very own Euler FPV, who came in 4th. Some awesome pilots in that group. How'd you get onto that one, or you just got the invite and you thought, yep, I'm going to get on it, or?
So that's one actually, since Velocidrone is like my home base. So I've been since basically I started racing on the sim. I do every Thursday. There is a Velocidrone race, the TBS EU Spec series, which I have participated ever since. And lately, since about a month or a bit longer, I'm every Wednesday is like this DEP series. That's the one that you saw.
Yeah.
And these races are all awesome because a lot of the big names of the really fast pilots are still in them, and you can fly against them. And for example, in the DEP race, the Darkex always participates, so you always can see how bad you are against him.
It's like the benchmark.
Yeah.
And these are the races that I also do have to say that I enjoy them the most, because they are with normal 5-inch quads in Velocidrone, and that's the way I prefer to fly, which is really fast and tight tracks and stuff. So that's always fun, and I think that's also one of the best ways for me to practice is all these Velocidrone or other sim races, because you have the pressure of a real race and you have to be consistent and stuff, and it's still not too hard of an environment, so I love them.
Keep those, the rust away, and just keep ripping.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you don't have to buy props or fish them out of a lake, even better.
That's it. I don't know how many quads I would have broken if I only did free life racing. So many.
Yeah, I was only thinking about it the other night. I think I'd probably own GemFam by now, honestly. I would. Yeah, I'd be living in a cardboard box somewhere with my quads, and owning GemFam. So yeah, it'd be terrible. It'd be terrible. All right, we're going to flip over to a couple of community vids. This month we've got one from Apex Drone Racing's very own Vincent Holmes. So check that out, ripping around his local school while everybody's in lockdown. Lil, massive contributor to the Apex Drone Racing community, dropping another video at the skate park, which is an awesome one, so make sure you check that one out. And Maurice, aka Drone Junkie FPV, thanks for all your support and chucking videos up in the community, my friend.
Yeah, good to see him.
We've also got Win ripping around his Cine quad with a loose prop. But one thing all in common with this month's community videos is that everybody's pretty much going to freeze their fingers off. It's awfully cold in the Northern Hemisphere, so enjoy and stay warm while you're watching.
Thanks, guys.
All right, I just wanted to say thank you very much to Gundren FPV for joining us for his insights, thoughts, and racing in the DCL McDonald's Wildcard team for last year. So thanks for joining us, mate.
Thank you very much. It was great fun. Awesome to talk to you, and I'm very happy you do this kind of stuff. I think this is very important for the drone community. So
I really
thanks a lot.
appreciate it, dude. And
Yeah.
thanks for your time, man. It's good to touch base. It's good to finally meet up with you. And here's hoping that next year we'll all be kind of bumping elbows in real life.
Let's hope. That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
that'd be awesome. So yeah, and good luck with your shift over to hot props, my friend.
Yeah.
Wish you all the very best and
Congrats.
keep ripping hard. We know you will. So yeah, that'd be awesome.
See you in the
Keep-
skies.
keep
See you on the
going hard, mate.
leaderboards.
That's it.
Definitely.
See you on the leaderboards and see you going, he was one of ours. We seriously wish you all
I'm
the
not
best.
gonna
my friend.
forget you. Don't worry.
Difficult to do.
But make sure everyone you check out Janis's social medias, his YouTubes, and all these other links. We'll post them down below. Massive thanks to the Apex Drone community once again for their support and all their videos for this month. Thanks, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Tell us what you do and don't want. Make sure you check out Shane over on Twitch every Monday and Tuesday with your lap DCR trap
Just
lap breakdown.
Grinding and talking rubbish.
Grinding. Hey, it's helped me, and once again, if you can help me, you can help anybody. Make sure you check it out on Twitch, and make sure you get in there and say good day, and leave him a follow, so it'll come up on the screen. We want to
Yeah,
see
little
that thing
Pikachu's.
glowing.
Want to see the Pikachu's?
I know, get the Pikachu's going. That'd be awesome. Make sure you check out Apex Drone Racing on their Facebook pages, the Apex community page, the Apex Academy, and make sure you check out the Apex Drone Racing store for all your official and awesome merch. Thank you very much, Shane. Well timed as usual.
I know my job.
So, yeah, that's it. I'm done here. My job's here. You can
Yeah.
clock off and walk out. All right. On that note, we're going to leave you. Stay safe and make sure you fly safe, everybody.
Fly fast.
Fly.
Fly
Apex.
Apex. See you guys.
Awesome. See yous.
See ya.